Hi guys, Korean movie recapped here. Warning, spoilers ahead. Today, I'm going to recap a Korean romance movie released in 2015, called The Beauty Inside. The movie is about a furniture maker who mysteriously changes his appearance into different people each time he sleeps. He falls in love with a girl, but will she accept him even with his condition? Let's find out together. The movie opens with our main protagonist, Woo-jin, waking up next to a girl. He rushes to put on his clothes and sneak out, taking the bus home while saying he looked much different and slimmer yesterday. He doesn't worry, just saying that it'll change tomorrow. Apparently, Woo-jin drastically changes appearance and becomes a different person when he wakes up every day, be it a man, woman, child, or elderly person. He has to adjust to every new body, as he can't return to normal. He works alone as a furniture maker and sells them online because nobody needs to see his face that way. Woo-jin only has one friend, Sang-baek, who helps him sell his furniture. That day, seeing Woo-jin's appearance as a handsome young man, he says it's a waste not to use it, and they head to a bar. The two do this a lot. Woo-jin pretends to be a different person every time and hits on a girl, while Sang-baek keeps telling girls about his friend who can change appearances every day although no one believes him. That night, Woo-jin hooks up with a girl, but he wakes up as an old man the next morning and sneakily leaves again. He says he can't find love because his face changes every day. He tells a story about how it all started 12 years ago. He started changing appearances on his 18th birthday. He cried to his mother as he didn't know what was happening, and she comforted him. Naturally, he had to drop out of school and didn't get to live a normal life or have any friends. One day, Sang-baek, his school friend, came to his house drunk while bringing fish balls, Woo-jin's favorite. As his appearance that day is of a middle-aged lady, Sang-baek thought he was his mother until she came home, forcing Woo-jin to explain his condition. Sang-baek tried questioning him things only they would know and were surprised that it was actually Woo-jin. He started laughing about it, and Woo-jin, previously so solemn, started laughing about his appearances too. They continued to be friends until one day when Woo-jin was a beautiful woman, Sang-baek wanted to sleep with him. Woo-jin just scolded and hit Sang-baek until he let go of the idea. More time passed, and Sang-baek decided to quit his job because his company had copied Woo-jin's furniture design. Woo-jin thinks about a unique selling point for his furniture and gets the idea to make custom furniture tailored to the customer's body and preferences. The two started a furniture company together called ALX. In the present day, Woo-jin visits the furniture workshop and discusses some designs with Sang-baek, who begs him to choose less expensive materials. Woo-jin then goes to a furniture shop to look at knobs for his design but gets enchanted by the beautiful woman who works there, Lee-soo. She asks if he has a specific style he's looking for, and he describes it in detail, so she guesses that he's a furniture maker. She then recommends a chair from his company, saying that it's custom-made and has good quality. He asks if she's allowed to recommend a different store's items, and she says no while laughing. As Woo-jin is attracted to Lee-soo, he comes to the shop every day as different people to see her. She keeps giving him thoughtful recommendations, no matter who he becomes that day. He thinks about asking her out but thinks she won't recognize him the next day anyway, although his heart says otherwise. Woo-jin waits for the day when he looks like a handsome young man, as he thinks first impressions are important even if true beauty lies inside someone. He comes up to Lee-soo and buys furniture before asking her to get some food. She declines because she still has work, but he insists that he has practiced asking her out a lot, and it has to be today, so she agrees. They get some sushi, and she plans to go back to work, but he wants to bring her somewhere she'll enjoy while trying to convince her that he's not a creep. They end up going to ALX's factory, as apparently she and her boss love the brand. They then eat sushi on a dining table, while Lee-soo suggests that a table with built-in speakers would be cool. Afterward, Woo-jin walks her back home, and she tells him to call her. Lee-soo comes home to her father and sister teasing her for going on a date. She later gets a text from Woo-jin asking her to get dinner the next day, and she agrees. Woo-jin tries to cheat his fate by not sleeping that night and picks Lee-soo up the next day with the same appearance. They go on a date, listening to music and eating dinner at the ALX factory again. Lee-soo asks what Woo-jin does in ALX, and he says he's the designer. Suddenly, Sang-baek comes in drunk, and the two hide. They see him play around with furniture and eat their food. They wrap up their date for the night, and again, Woojin doesn't sleep that night as the couple has another date the next day. They go to a yarn work store that belongs to Woojin's mother, but he doesn't mention it to Isoo. She gets a yarn ring that matches with Woojin's. She mentions that he looks really tired at the bus stop, like he hasn't slept, but he says he's okay. He asks to go on another date the next day, but she says she needs to go home early, so Woojin suggests they have breakfast instead. The two finally kiss when Woojin walks Isoo home. On his way home on the train, Woojin, unfortunately, falls asleep and turns into a balding, older man. Naturally, Isoo doesn't notice him the next day as she waits for the previous day's Woojin, and he doesn't want to reveal his condition to her yet, so he just ignores her calls and texts. He doesn't want to ghost her completely, though, so he goes to design a table for her, which he delivers for her furniture store to put on display. Isoo's boss is impressed by her work, but she seems hesitant about the meaning of the table. That day, the furniture store is starting their trainee program, and Isoo gets approached by a girl trainee that turns out to be Woojin. He tries to ask her on a date again in the female body, asking if she knows Woojin. They then go to Woojin's house, where Isoo thinks he is stalking her as this girl due to the amount of ALX furniture there. Woojin tries to explain to her about his condition by showing her a video diary that he takes every day, but Isoo still doesn't believe her and says she never wants to see him again before storming out. Isoo is still restless after the encounter and keeps thinking about Woojin and his confession as the days go by. She even notices that the table ALX sent to the store is made with a built-in speaker, just like her suggestion back then. One night, she decides to go to Woojin's house, whose appearance that day is of a young Japanese girl. Woojin explains that he can only speak Japanese but does not understand it when said back to him. Isoo asks if he's really Woojin and if he likes her, and Woojin says yes to both. She then suggests that they sleep together that night, as she wants to see Woojin transform into another person. While lying together in bed, Woojin tells her that he got used to his condition until he met Isoo, because then he just wants to be normal so he can be with her. The morning comes, and Isoo wakes up before Woojin, who hasn't yet changed appearances. She goes out of the room and sees the many different items he has to adapt to each appearance until finally, he comes out of the bedroom as a young man. The two start dating and meet each other every day, even getting a tattoo and drinking together when Woojin is in a kid's body. They enjoy their time together, and Isoo wonders how she can recognize him as he has a different face every day, so they agree on a certain way to hold hands as a sign and that Woojin will always find her first. One day, Woojin gets a call from Sang-baek, who's scolding him for procrastinating, so that day, he takes Isoo to his meeting with Sang-baek. She suggests a separate ALX line that makes furniture with standardized sizes but at a lower price point. Woojin agrees, and Sang-baek says everything she says will be an excellent idea to Woojin. He also thanks Isoo's store for inviting them to their party, but they can't go as Woojin is secretive due to his condition, but Woojin asks when the party will be held as he wants to go. The party starts, but unfortunately, Woojin's appearance that day is an old lady. He contemplates going as Isoo's grandma but decides to try sleeping so he'll change appearance again. While waiting for Woojin, who is late, Isoo chats with her boss until finally, Woojin, who is now a handsome man, holds her hand and introduces himself and Sang-baek. They all enjoy the party, and a drunk Sang-baek tells Isoo not to hurt Woojin because he's afraid that his friend's heart will be shattered. Isoo only smiles, and the couple leaves Sang-baek to go home and finally sleep together. They continue living as a happy couple, and one day they come back to Woojin's mother's knit store. While knitting, Woojin's mother tells Isoo that she hopes loving Woojin won't hurt her. The two start to have small problems in the relationship, like Isoo, who can't take him to meet her friends, or when Woojin surprised her when he didn't greet her like usual. One day at work, Isoo has some problem remembering furniture's specifications, and she takes a pill for something. Seeing this, her boss talks with her in the office, saying that she's worried Isoo is having guy troubles as people have seen her with multiple men, who are all Woojin. She goes to a doctor who asks about her symptoms, but she says she has trouble remembering stuff, so she wants to record their conversation. That night, she drinks wine with Woojin and complains about her day. Woojin suddenly asks her to marry him, but when she doesn't answer, he tells her to forget it. While driving Isoo home, she tells him not to be mad as there are many things to consider for them to get married, like how she's going to introduce him to her family. Woojin knows she's right, but he's still upset about it. We find out that she's been under a lot of stress from the relationship, and she keeps taking risperidone pills until that night. She takes too much and has to be hospitalized. Ujin, who knew nothing about her illness, finally finds out from her recordings that it's because she's together with him. He goes to his mother about it, and she tells him that Isu is experiencing the same thing as she did and that she'll be fine once she is no longer with him. Apparently, Ujin's father was also like him, and his mother experienced the same symptoms as Isu until one day, his father left her for her own sake. Ujin gets upset for only knowing about this now, but after some time thinking, he sees Isu and takes her to measure the perfect chair for her. While walking her home, Ujin says they should break up as it'll be the best for her and leaves. Some time passes, Isu still has feelings for Ujin and can feel his presence, but she cries to her sister, saying that she can remember everything but his face. Finally, after some time, Isu starts feeling better and returning to normal, until one day, she and her boss find a furniture brand from the Czech Republic that resembles Ujin's design. She goes to ALX to renew their contract with Shang Beck, who's mad at her, and she gets the confirmation that Ujin is in the Czech Republic. She contemplates her feelings for him and realizes that she can't live without him. We see Ujin's new life in the Czech Republic, still making furniture and changing appearances every day. One day, Isu visits his house looking for him, but he doesn't admit that he's Ujin even if she already knows. She goes into his house by saying she's from a furniture store in Korea but then holds Ujin's hand like how they used to do. She tells him that she wants to be with him because being without him is worse than getting sick. They walk together to a lakeside, where Isu asks Ujin to marry her. He then pulls out the ring that he's prepared for a while, and we see him proposing to her in many different appearances. The true beauty and essence of someone lie within their heart and soul, not their outward appearances. This movie teaches us that true love does not care about appearances or the hardships of a relationship. In the end, Isu chooses to be with Ujin despite knowing that it could make her ill again. What do you think of her decision? Let us know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thank you for watching, and as always, see you next time.